Good morning. I'm
Ooh,
Sharon Taylor, CEO and founder of the Business Vision and Development Center. And again, it's time for bagels and business for breakfast.
yay.
Since we started this program, we've really been talking about the components of a business plan. And now we're getting to the end where we're at the financial plan stage, which is usually the last component of your business plan. How you doing this morning, Yvonne?
I am so fabulous. I am just happy to be here. Good
I'm
morning,
glad to
everybody.
hear that. So, anyway, we're going to talk about a basic financial plan for startup businesses. And so it's really easy for you to comprehend and understand. And you can just use an Excel spreadsheet or you can find a template, on Microsoft Office or wherever. It's simple. Basically, you're just going to do what it's going to cost you to start it up, if you're going to have leasing, insurance, your registration, all of those things are going to be under your expenditures. Then under your income, you're going to list revenue that you're going to get from sales or services, any crowdfunding, any investments, any capital that you're going to use of your own. You put those two things together, you get your bottom line. So that's the simple way of explaining it. You want to add something to that before I go a little further, Yvonne?
I think that let's go a little further.
Yvonne's, yeah, she's busy eating and drinking this morning. So what you really need to do is kind of get in your mind what your target is going to be. Say for a year. Typically, when you do your financial plan, it's a 5-year plan. But we're going to give you a little bite right now. So you're going to do your 1-year plan, what you
Mhm.
plan to make at the end of the year. So you kind of back into it. Say you want to have $100,000. Then you start deducting rent, equipment, salary, and see how much you're really going to need to make on your services and products. And that will help you with your pricing. Most banks will want to see a 5-year plan, but start with the 1-year plan just so you can get a little feel of where you're going and where you want to be.
All right, so Sharon, if you don't mind, I'd like to speak to the beginner on the spreadsheet because I remember those days. So if you're just starting and trying to figure out how to really create your financial plan and using a spreadsheet, make sure you have the information for what you're proposing. So it's creating your budget, what you're proposing you're going to do, and your actual, so that you be able to see. Because if you're just starting, like Sharon mentioned, most banks want to see at least 3 years or so.
Mhm.
You may not have that, but if you spend anything, try to incorporate that into that spreadsheet. But if not, make sure you're tracking everything at the beginning. And Sharon, I used to one thing that frustrated me as a new business owner was preparing that budget. Look, knowing that at the end of the year, it was a ghost. We called it a ghost budget back then. It was like,
It's still a ghost.
okay, because I'm like, why do we keep doing this every year? But but it was important because it always gave us a goal and let us
Yes.
see the big picture on where we were trying to go and what we needed to do, to be able to provide the services.
And that's true. And there are always going to be constants with a budget. Like if you're renting space, the rent is always going to be a constant. Your utilities are always going to be a constant. So you can start with those things that you know are going to be there all the time every year. And then you can navigate the variables in between. But like you said, Yvonne, the good thing about having a budget, ghost or in real life,
Right.
is that it gives you an opportunity to visualize what you're doing. And then it also shows you where you may can cut some costs. You know, you may be ordering more supplies than you're selling, or you may be having internet connection that you could kind of lower that cost. There are always ways to save some money, but like I said, you have to start somewhere. And as a business owner, sometimes we're just grabbing money from our savings, grabbing money from our purse, and we're not really calculating where the money's coming from and where the money is going. So this is a good opportunity, one, for you to get your financial house in order. And it also helps you with your personal finances too, as a new business owner, because we tend to use our own money to subsidize our business startup.
Yes, and something else I'd like to add, because especially with starting a nonprofit, Sharon, one of the things that we had to quickly put in place was our policies and procedures, because we were receiving donations. You know, if you're going to receive donations, we need to be able to show that we receive people money. You need to be able to show where that money has gone. If you're getting grants, you have to be able to show that that money has come in and how that's being used, especially if it's specific to a particular project. So I just wanted to mention that. And if you are new in business, get somebody else that you trust to work with you. Don't be the only person dealing with finances, because you cannot wear all the hats in the financial thing.
There's this thing called the rule of two. Whenever there is some kind of fiduciary responsibility, there should always be at least two eyes on it. Two people looking at checks, two people looking at invoices, two people knowing that the money's going out and coming in, and it'll save you some heartache down the end if someone has to do an audit. So get you a good financial consultant to help you, and like Yvonne says, somebody that you truly trust, because money can be funny.
Yes. Look, that you trust, and they are good at dealing with numbers and the money, because you may, like, I know when I first started, I couldn't afford an accountant, I couldn't afford a CPA, I couldn't afford to pay anybody to really do that type of job. So it may depend on the type of business that you're starting. If you do have the money to pay somebody in that area. But one thing that I had to learn was that you have to stay connected to it too. Like, I wanted to let that person take care of that because I had 100 other things to do.
Yes.
And I learned that no, I have to still stay involved and know what's going on every moment when it comes to the finances.
The other thing is, set up a time. I would suggest at least at a minimum once a month. Twice a month is better, where you sit down and you reconcile your receipts, your budget, you look at mileage, you look at things you spend on your telephone. When your bills come in, you sit down and do it then. Because what happens is that you forget, and you got these receipts and you don't know exactly where to put them in terms of your expenditures. So with that being said, thank you for joining us for Bagels and Breakfast, and we'll see you again next Monday.
Bye.